All right. Welcome to another episode of Connect in Politics. We're here with a special guest. Please introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you're currently located, and your favorite snack.
Hey everybody, my name is Kendrick Jackson. I am currently located here in Washington, D.C., and my favorite snack right now is blackberries.
Just fresh blackberries.
Yeah, just fresh blackberries. They're so good.
Nice, nice, nice. What is your fondest memory from childhood?
My fondest memory from childhood is friendships. Being able to just get into things with friends, uh, going out, being far away from my parents, but still like not that far, but like just doing things that like I know that my child will never be able to do. Like at any, my daughter's 10, so when I was 10, I was, a good mile and a half, 2 miles away. My parents didn't know, pretty much didn't care. That's not a thing anymore. So I think I just appreciated that because that was just a different time.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, that's so true in so many ways. Childhood now is a lot different. And how do you think that childhood helped groom you into the person you are today?
Um, I think that the main thing with that was my parents were smart enough at any given time, even though like they were, my parents they didn't come from anything. And they grew up in primarily black neighborhoods. I didn't live in primarily white neighborhoods, but they always made sure I was in a space of, diversity. They were having, different people who had different thoughts and different perspectives of religion, culture, family values, all throughout our home. And that sort of reflected in regards to the type of people that I kicked it with, whether it be people in like who I played ball with, or people who I would project, work with in classes. And ultimately, people that I dated. Just being in a space that allowed me to appreciate, oh, snap, you're from somewhere else. That is interesting to me. Tell me everything about it. I want to know all the coolness, what have you, because I didn't really get an opportunity to travel until later in my life. So up until like recently, I just didn't have the funds. And my parents weren't doing that. So I think them opening my mind up that there is a bigger world, and then me dedicating the time, the budget, the discipline to making sure that I actually went out and saw it.
What would you say are the most important lessons that you learned from your parents?
Um, Honesty, man. Just keeping it 100 with somebody. I think they were always, I would see arguments, and it would always be kind of like weird. When you see your parents argue, like, arguing about like, or and you're like, are y'all gonna get a divorce? Like, granted, they did get a divorce, but like they did it like when I was in college. They like called me three-way. I'm like, I love you, y'all all right? I had to call them separately to make sure they was all right. And I'm like, okay, um, so I think just that level of just always keeping it 100 with each other, always knowing where they stand. Family is all we have, and it's all we need in some cases. And that doesn't necessarily mean people who are your blood. I mean, I have people that I call aunties, uncles, who are like family, who have no blood relation to me, but they put in enough work to be considered family. You know what I mean? Like, and always just letting them know where I'm at. So times are tough. People call me randomly, what's going on? And I tell them I'm probably like, funny you mentioned that. I got a solution for you right now. And being honest, like you've known me, you see my ups, you see my downs. But I've always, been honest about where I've been with it, just so that maybe an opportunity can come out of that to make me feel a little bit better for that moment.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. What are your favorite things to do for self-care?
I like gardening. I really do appreciate gardening a lot. It's a slow process. It's being intentional about, literally planting seeds, because that's what I do with my work life is just plant seeds, and then, sort of help them grow and foster and do that. So it's nice to be able to have a place where I can step out because I'm talking to you in my office right now. I literally spend majority of my life in this room. And it's a standing work desk. I try to, stay in shape, do some workout, do some yoga. But outside of that, like that's slowly becoming my sanctuary as far as where I can find some peace in my own space. So that's been my biggest hobby right now. It's just gardening and tending to some plants. So that's been fun.
So you kind of alluded to this, but what do you do in your professional life, and how did you get to where you are?
Yeah, so in my professional life, I guess I would, the easiest thing to say is like I'm a consultant. We have a like a tech innovation and workforce sort of hybrid company where we plant plant seeds in people's heads that allows them to see sort of what their future is in the areas of technology, design, project management, and entrepreneurship. So our company's called Future First. We started off with a small little DC government grant of $50,000 little seed fund investment, and then we basically sort of created a process that took a general assembly model where you go to class 5 days a week and you're in class all day. What we did was we said, okay, instead of going to class 5 days a week, why don't you go to class 3 days a week? Or I'm sorry, go to class 2 days a week. And then 3 days a week, you can actually show up to a job site and actually do the work that you're training to do. So by the time you're done the 90-day class, not only do you have the technical knowledge in the classroom, but you also have the real world experience, so that even if you don't get hired by that company, you've got a portfolio. Someone can pull up your GitHub and see the actual work that you've done. And at that point, if you're nice with it, nobody cares where you went to school. You can have a computer science degree from Harvard or MIT or Stanford. But if they pull up your GitHub and it doesn't show that you know how to code, none of that matters anymore. So what we're really trying to do is not just give them the technical skills, but also the entrepreneurial or intrapreneurial skills that allows you to be able to see other opportunities within the company. I think universities, high schools, they really sort of make sure they kill that drive in you to not be entrepreneurial. They're like, whoa, we're going to train you to be as very good in this confined space, and you're going to be the best at it. We're going to put our stamp of approval on it. But that doesn't teach you how to be nimble or agile or be able to help out with a video project if you need, or be able to come and help out on some financial issues or bring some marketing insights to it. So we want to have our students be able to do that in a way that makes sense. And I guess the way I got to that was being in a place of privilege to see that a lot of folks were able to get $80,000 jobs, $60,000 a year jobs after attending General Assembly for 90 days and then spending 90 days applying for jobs. And then somebody would hire them. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. How is this not like why don't we just incorporate this into the high schools? And then, we don't even have enough computer science majors to fill all the computer science jobs that even exist ever. Right. So it really made me look at it. And, for all intents and purposes, I really started to get a bad taste in my mouth and identify that, like, it was a little bit of organized chaos. A lot of it was structured to really fail. The people in the community weren't really put in a place to be able to articulate their problems in regards to education policy. More importantly, articulate their solutions and hold government entities accountable to ensure that the future of their, themselves even, was at stake. A lot of people are dealing with all types of wraparound service issues, trauma, health, all of that justice-related issues. So what we try to do is, in closing, I look at us as being sort of like the bowling alley with the bumpers on the side, where you're gonna hit you're gonna get some pins, you're gonna get some points on the board, but you're never gonna fall in the gutter. So if you're running any health issues, we've got you with wraparound services. You just got home from being locked up, we got you. We'll take care and make sure the PO is issued. Mental health issues, education issues. You need a job. You need help starting your business. We got you. Just stay on the path, and you will not fall off. And we can't guarantee you're going to be uber successful, but if you apply yourself and stay to this, enough people will see, because we have a strong network. My network is like of people who care and step up. But if they see you putting in that work, especially now, people want to be able to do those monthly or weekly pulse checks with their mentee and see how they're doing and give advice. If they see you moving forward, the network is going to be there and continue to support you.
Nice, nice. What's on your bucket list to learn?
Yeah, so I mean, my bucket list right now is, really honing in on a lot of the work that we're doing right now to solidify these innovation centers that we're doing, solidify a lot of the partnerships that we're doing with Amazon to really say, okay, you guys are really trying to hire 90,000 people, like for real, trying to hire 90,000 people. Okay, like what does that actually look like if we reverse engineer it? And then we look at, obviously, you're not going to do this in 1 year, and you're probably not even going to do this in 4 years, right? That may be a process. So for me, my bucket list is really to close that, that loop or that gap with them, and have that trust with them, where they can then co-sign us to be able to go into these schools and provide this education and provide it in a way where I can say, all right, you know what? I get it. You want to be the next Puffy, right? You want to be the next, Tyler Perry or whoever. Cool. The way Amazon works is they don't like it when people just stay in the same company, or same department. They like people to move. Amazon has a movie studio. Amazon has a record label. Amazon has all of this dope stuff that you want to do. They have fashion merchandising experts. Like they know exactly how to get your product, service, idea to billions of people. Like they have this product where they'll do a snapshot where they'll put it on the homepage for like 15 seconds just to see how, people will react to it. And in those 15 seconds, like 2 million people have seen it. And it's like, holy shit, so like they'll just do these spot checks. So
that's crazy.
Right? So like for me, my bucket list, short term is really to solidify those deals and make sure that there's a pipeline of Black, brown talent going into these companies, filling these jobs, but are also prepared on how to network and move in a room full of vultures, and be able to do that, because both being minorities in tech, so there's those times where you're like, and then you resent it, right? You're like, man, I gotta be that person that has to speak up and say some shit right now because this is wrong, and I have to check them. So you definitely want to add more diversity, because all the data points that the more diverse an organization is, the more successful they are. So that's what we really want to do. And those are the things on my short-term bucket list. And then long-term is figuring out what the heck I'm going to do with my daughter's school and all of that. Am I going to have a more African-centric education system in my household? Talking about that and relating it. Or are we going to push her and continue to see if she wants to be one of those overachieving kids that's, graduating high school at like 15 or something, craziness.
Nice.
But it's up to the kid, and that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to.
That's dope. Can you think of any advice that you would give your younger self?
Yeah. I would probably just say, find a financial advisor as soon as possible, like budget yourself as soon as possible. This COVID situation has made me realize like how much money I was spending out here in these streets. And how much money I could have saved that would have really put me in a better situation of giving me more leverage when I'm trying to negotiate and be in a space of like, I've got this, I'm cool, I don't need this deal, I can walk away from this deal. And even in this previous situation with our last client, we offered them a 5-month contract because we were cool at walking away at any given point. And we kind of wanted them to know that we're not dependent on this contract. So we're going to do it on our terms. I would definitely make sure I had a lot more financial literacy. And I think what brought me to that was my ex-wife. She was the one who was like, hey, listen, do this. But I really wish I had it. I bought that house at 23, 24. No, 24. But I was making a lot of money at my job at like 21. I just went through crazy amounts of cash. I wound up having a baby. I wound up marrying that woman. We went crazy. I didn't know what to do with money. Like I had no idea. I thought and this was pre-Instagram, so I was I couldn't even flex like that. Like, it was, and people weren't flexing on Facebook like that. You know, Facebook is about being humble. Yeah. Instagram's where I went.
You know, actually, you say that. You know, because you know, as you know, I've been a collector for a lot of the finest things in life for a while. You know, and so uh, I have a lot of friends like you and folks that had similar lifestyle. And so, you know, every time when we have these conversations, this always comes up about how, you know, the things that we bought or the money we spent pre Instagram, right?
Right.
And the funny thing actually is like most of these people now don't even flex on Instagram, right? Like, you know, it's always it's like it's
Their family is their flex, right? You know,
right.
That's basically it. It's like, yeah, my son is doing amazing.
Right.
Flex.
But yeah, no, it would have been, you know, I mean, if you could imagine high school, college, you know, it would have been, it was going to be crazy, but
We live in a different world now. But I think at the end of the day, what it boils down to for me is really just learning, you know, failing fast. I really wish I knew about failing fast a lot sooner because I didn't know how to approach failures.
yeah.
You know, even talking to you as, you know, a personal friend of mine, you know, like I was embarrassed, you know, so I was like, all right, fuck, you know, whatever. Hey, Mike, listen, you have to close up. Stuff ain't working right now. And then, you know, you just have that shame. I'm being honest, but like I'm still shameful in my honesty, right? That it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. So I think just knowing, you know, fail fast, get up, dust yourself off, keep going. It's really exhausting feeling bad for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and what's the best advice you've received?
You said, what's the best advice that I've received?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I mean, you know, it's really, you know, giving context. You know, I try to surround myself with not just people who are, you know, more successful than me, but people who've just gone through it before. So, I mean, I think my best advice somebody's given me is, you know, have older people around you who can, you know, give it, you know, like Chris Rock would say, you know, an old black person, like, don't do that, you know, that's 5 to 10, you know, they'll give you that type of knowledge. By having that network of people who've gone through these different scenarios and they no longer have the energy that I have, but have all the resources that, you know, I would only imagine to amass in my, you know, my lifetime. I think, you know, that was whoever put that in my mind, like kicking with old people. That's been the best advice that I've had because they appreciate me checking in on them. I definitely appreciate all of the wisdom and knowledge that they're dropping on me. It's like gems.
Yeah.
Just that you would think, you know, someone would have executed on 40, 50, 60 years ago, you know, but they haven't. And, you know, it's just about opportunity meeting preparation.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's the OGs are full of gems, man. Gems for days. What has been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
I think, you know, the toughest thing I had to tackle, you know, recently in my life is, you know, just a separation from the family's perspective because my ex and I are really good friends. We're great co-parents. She's, you know, she's my boss in some cases because I worked for her. You know, I do some business development for some of her stuff. So that got kind of, you know, crazy, you know, for a second because I'm remembering why I'm not married to her anymore, but I can't, you know, I got to let that go because, you know, she's also paying me. So, like, that's some craziness right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's really it, you know, just that.
So what has helped you get through it? What has helped you?
And I think the fact that her and I are still like people, you know, in some families, you know, like as my parents and her parents are divorced. They do not speak to each other. Neither one of our parents speak to each other, right? And granted, they were married like twice as long as we were, right? They have some like real beef, but like we're still engaging. We still co-parent. We still have to have that level of connection. And I think because
Yeah.
we'll travel together, and sometimes group trips, we'll do a lot of the family things still together. Um, I think that sort of makes people in some cases say, "Oh, you guys are gonna get back together," but it's like not really. It's just that we really appreciate each other. We always
Yeah.
had that friendship. It's just that the relationship aspect, sort of faded out. But no, that's my homie, man. And I think families aren't necessarily used to seeing that all the time. They're used to it being like war,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
picking
Yeah.
sides and all of that. That's not necessary, man. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's just about the child.
Yeah. No, that's a great example you guys are setting for for your daughter. Um, when I say happy, what comes to mind?
Peace. Um, you know, again, I don't need much in life. I told a friend of mine, I said, listen, I'll be happy if I had just $1.2 million of fuck you money for the rest of my life. That's only $100,000 a month that I could spend on whatever. I don't need to spend more than like I'll probably stack up 60 one month and 90 another month because I won't spend any. But I don't need that much money to be happy. What I really need is just to know that like with JC, my nephew situated, my mom is straight, and just relax and being able to continue to solve problems for people in the community because that's been my MO like prior to state of affairs and all the clothing stuff and everything like that. My whole family's always been rooted in doing community-based work. My only dilemma with that was I don't really believe in nonprofits because I'm like, why don't y'all solve the problems in the community y'all been in for like the last 40 something years? And no knock, to them or their 990s, right? I don't care what you pay your CEO. My point is, I just felt that like I could do this in a for-profit way. Like that's all I'm saying. So,
That's
right. So it's just sort of like, the Panthers had this idea of like creating for-profit businesses. They did it in the community. They were immunizing people. They were providing food for them. They were expecting that pandemics would happen. So we have to be thinking forward. We have to be data-driven as a community. And we have to know that we're all in this together. So I think for me, peace and knowing that like things are taken care of on my family side, that makes me happy. And then I can just spend my 12, 14 hours just like grinding out, like just going in because there's so many other problems that need to be solved. And I'm trying to build that army of people that can do that. So yeah, that's basically happiness to me, just knowing my family's good. I'm in good standing with them. They're in good standing with me. And it's just love.
nice. What qualities or character traits do you admire in other people?
I think of, when I think of character traits, I think of integrity. I think of empathy. Um, being empathetic to other people's situations, putting yourself in their shoes, even if it's conflict. It's like, well, what is this person has to be coming from a space of like, thinking that this is a good, in their mind, they must be thinking it's good. Let me think about this for a second so I can be empathetic. And then I think having the integrity to be able to be like, I get it, you're at odds with me right now, but we still going to figure out a way to solve this problem together. And I have a lot of, because I'm not like that as a person, I'm a confrontational human being. So over the years, having to work on my health, family has high blood pressure and stuff. So I gotta, be careful. So the qualities I really appreciated, people that are really able to put themselves in other people's shoes, be empathetic and be able to like give out a helping hand. Cause I'm like, man, that brother didn't have to do that. Like you didn't have to text me and hit me up and be like, hey, listen, I want to talk to you. Let you get your words out there. This is helpful for me. This is therapeutic. Those are the type of character traits that, I appreciate people following up, being intentional about sort of what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they're doing it. I really appreciate that because it allows me to be on my A game.
Yeah.
Be there just as much as them as they are for me.
Nice. As a parent, what values are you hoping to imprint on your child?
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I learned more from her and her ability to be, just a good person. Like, she's just a genuinely good human being. Like, she cares, she listens. I mean, I even remember like a few years ago, she used to like cry in the car because she would get mad that we wouldn't give like dollars to homeless people. Like, I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm like, I haven't explained to her, like, we can't just keep giving money to people. Like, hey, I don't carry cash with me like that. And I already told a couple people on the street that they need to get cash app. Like, I already hit them with that. Like, I will give you cash app if you have it right now because I see you out here. That's what I'm saying. So, I think her seeing that her mother is, making face masks right now and doing that in a crazy, cool, creative way. Her mom, ran for office in a neighborhood as advisory neighborhood commission. My work in the mayor's office, my work consistently in the community. Like, she knows this family is like, that's what we do. You're at Jackson. We put in the work in the community, but we also put the work in the business. She told me the other day, she was like, I didn't want to help mommy out with a business at first because I felt like she was still trying to figure out what she wanted to do with it. And I didn't want to get involved, but now I think she's figured it out. So I'm willing to help her. I'm like, yeah.
That is wild. That's wild. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, man. I just want to continue to be somebody that she looks up to and that
Yeah.
she, is always somebody for her to be proud of because I'm looking at her as like, yo, who are you? Why are you talking like you're some angel investor or something like that?
Yeah.
But she has the understanding of basic common sense and how that leads into like you being able to do the next thing.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. So for our final question, how do you define success?
Success to me is being able to like wake up every day right here. My bed is right there. I get up, shower, do a little yoga, and then I'm excited to get to work. I'm excited to do that. Like, I'm successful because I love getting up every day and doing my job. I don't get paid a lot, but I know I'm successful, and I'm a lot more successful than a lot of my friends right now who are making way more money. Primarily because they're not happy with the work and they're looking for the next thing. And when I ask them like, "What are you passionate about?" they can't answer that question. So when you can't answer what are you passionate about, and then be doing the work that you're passionate about, I honestly don't think you're really successful. You may be successful to your parents, you may be successful to your bank account, you may be successful to your friends, but like internally, I don't really see that as being successful. So that's what it looks like to me.
That's a perfect way to end. Well, we connected, we politic, and we will definitely do this again in the near future.
I will shoot this. I'll shoot this information over to a brother of mine. I think it'd be a good fit for this.